Well, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you guys, everybody, for joining us. Um, so I'm just going to kind of do like a little mini presentation.
Okay.
Um, so today we are, well, actually, I should do my intro. See, I'm already messing up. So this is for everybody watching this in the future. Thank you guys for joining us. This is Sam with the Bluegrass Council of the Blind. This is our monthly assistive technology group seminar. Today, we're going to be talking about video magnification and doing a deep dive. So explaining everything there is to know, hopefully, about video magnification. I've got a nice array of things here in the office that we can try out, and I'll be talking about. I apologize, the camera's not working today, but we're going to work through that. If you would like to reach out to us, you can do that through our website, bcbky.org. And you can send us an email, info@bcbky.org, or you can give us a phone call, 859-259-1834. All right, well, let's jump into it. So when you are living with low vision, one of the best ways to help with that is by utilizing magnification. And we have a wide array of options for magnification. Generally, we start with handheld magnifiers, just your normal optical magnifiers that you might find at Walmart or Target or something like that. But eventually, either those aren't strong enough or you need more variety, more versatility in your magnification. So that's when we tend to move towards video magnification. Now, just to quickly explain what video magnification is, it's very simple. You could think of it as just having a camera that displays the image on a screen, and you can zoom into it. You can make it bigger. So if you think about taking a picture of your kids on your phone, and then you zoom in to see the kid's face, that's essentially what video magnification is. And you can definitely use your phone, and that's something we're going to be talking about. But we have these devices that are built specifically for that task, and they work really, really well. And just like regular magnifiers, they come in all different shapes and sizes. But we're going to talk about some of the features of video magnification. I feel like I'm talking to the phone and not to. So
We can see each other.
yeah, I know. So along with having a much wider range of magnification available to you, usually on average it's 0 times magnification all the way up to like 30 times magnification. You can do a couple other things. You can also change the colors. And we call these either color schemes or color filters. And that is because some people can see things better in different color schemes. And it's mostly about contrast. Ideally, we're trying to get the best contrast so you can see it the best. And so oftentimes these magnifiers will have regular full color. So if you want to put a photo album underneath there, you can zoom in and see your loved ones. You can switch it to black and white, and that will often, so think of if you have a newspaper and it's a really old newspaper and it's kind of turned yellow, the paper's turned yellow, you can switch it to black and white and it will make it look like black text on a white background. We also have inverted, so that is just the opposite. It turns it into white text on a black background. And this is very popular. A lot of people prefer this. In fact, a lot of people with macular degeneration and other retinal conditions prefer the inverted because it reduces the glare. Sometimes if you're looking at a big screen and it's a big white piece of paper, that can be a little overwhelming on your eyes. So we can switch it to where it's all black with white text, and that's easier on your eyes and easier to read. Then we might also have another very popular high contrast color is yellow and black. And it's just like the black and white and the inverted. You can do yellow text on a black background, or you can do black text on a yellow background. Now, some fancy ones get kind of crazy with the colors. They throw in reds and greens and purples and pinks and blues, and because you never quite know what the person's going to be able to see the best, and so they give a wide variety. Um, there's a very popular blue and yellow. It's not popular. They love to put it on machines, blue and yellow, and I've literally never met anybody that likes the blue and yellow. So somebody out there must, but I've never met them. Um, but it's all about getting contrast. And so video magnifiers will let you do that as well. Some video magnifiers will also let you put these digital lines on the screen, or they will let you block out certain sections of the screen and leave a little window for your text to show through. We call these lines and blinds. And it's just a reading guide. It helps you read, it helps you stay online as you're reading, if you can follow a line. And then some video magnifiers get real fancy, and they have a feature called OCR, and it stands for Optical Character Recognition. And this is where the device will take a picture of the text, the printed text, and then it will read it out loud to you. And that can be very helpful, especially if you're having to read a lot. You've got some kind of big legal document you've got to read, and you don't want to sit there and read through it. You can just take a picture and you can sit back, and the machine will read it out loud to you. So that's pretty cool. That's kind of in more the advanced devices. So that is essentially what video magnification is in a nutshell. The nice thing about it, though, as I mentioned, you have variety. And I've got a nice little assortment here in the office to demonstrate to people, just to illustrate that they come in a lot of different shapes and sizes. We have everything from little 3-inch screens, a little tiny thing that just sits in, you can keep it in your pocket and you can pull it out and you could read the price tag, or you could read your mail with it, all the way up to in the office here, I have a big 60-something inch TV, and I can turn that into a giant video magnifier. So we have lots of options. We even have fancy goggles that you can wear on your face, and you can sit there and sit across the room and watch TV with these, because these act as video magnifiers. So lots of variety. And the reason these have been around for so long and we have so much variety is because they work really, really well for most people. Generally with low vision, if you can make it bigger, you can see it better. And so these have been around since the 80s, and they're still going strong because they are tried and true. They work. This is growing up, how I made it through school was using video magnifiers to do my schoolwork and all of that. Now, some pros and cons to different types of video magnifiers. Really, they all do the same thing. I always kind of relate them to cars. All cars out there, they do the same thing. They take you from point A to point B, but they come in different sizes. Some might have extra features that you can get. Video magnifiers are very similar. They all do the same thing, so you really want to look at the other features to determine what's going to work the best for you. Some are big and bulky and heavy, and they sit on a desk in your house and they do not move. Well, depending on your lifestyle, that might not work for you. You might want something smaller that's more portable, that you can carry around either in a pocket or a bag. You can take it back and forth to the office. You can take it back and forth to school. If you travel, maybe you're a snowbird, you can take it with you during the summer and the winter and use it in these different locations. Now, the problem is you get the portability, but they tend to be smaller, so you lose screen size. So you can't see as much at one time on the screen because it's smaller. The bigger ones are great for that, but you can't carry them into Walmart to read the packaging. So there's a bit of a trade-off. Now, we do, as I mentioned before, we have some that you can wear on your face, and that kind of gives you the best of both best of both worlds, because they're portable, but they're right up there by your eyes, and so they're nice and big. They can magnify really big, and they're great. So it just depends on what exactly you're looking for. And that's where coming into a place like the Bluegrass Council of the Blind, I can sit down with you and we can talk about it and figure out what's going to work the best for you. The other big deciding factor is price, obviously, budget. What is your budget? Some of the big ones with the fancy taking pictures and reading it out loud to you, they could be pretty pricey. Now, we have some workarounds for that. There's some grants, at least here in Kentucky, that you can apply for to hopefully help to fund some of these things. Or we can look at maybe some secondhand options, online secondhand stores, or even I've heard people talk about they found them in pawn shops. We can talk about that. But that's also something that we can work through. And you guys in the office here, please ignore my neighbor that loves to yell.
We're fine.
He'll start cussing here in a second. So that is kind of the lowdown on video magnifiers. You guys on Zoom, does anybody have any questions yet?
Yeah, do any of these do handwriting well?
That's a great question, Avery, and possibly. So Avery's asking about how well they will for like OCR. I imagine Avery's asking how well will they scan handwriting and read that out loud to you. So if you have nice, neat handwriting, it's going to do a much better job. If you have chicken scratch handwriting, then it might struggle a little bit, but unfortunately, that's true for all digital devices. They struggle for handwriting. But you might get lucky and it reads it pretty well. But and also in a lot of situations, you can kind of figure out what it's trying to say. It might mess up a word here and there, but you get the idea, you get the context of what it's trying to say, and you can figure it out. You can follow along.
Even in absence of the audio output, will it blow up handwritten text pretty well?
Yes. Okay. So yes, and that brings up a very good point. Avery's asking about handwriting. Some of these devices will, they will all be able to zoom in and display the handwriting on the screen. And once again, how well you can read it depends on how neat the handwriting is. I struggle with handwriting sometimes, but one thing to point out is writing underneath a video magnifier. Some of these devices, some of the bigger ones that are up on stands, they give you a lot of room underneath to put a document down and write on the document, or to fill out a check, or to write a letter to your loved ones. Some of the smaller, more portable ones don't allow that because they sit directly on the document and there's no room to get your hand under there. So that's definitely a consideration too when you're trying to decide what to get. Now, companies have started creating these hybrid, I call them a hybrid video magnifier. It's a portable video magnifier that also comes with a stand and lets you elevate it up off the surface so that you can get under there and write, or put a full-size book underneath there. So that's nice. But generally, the portable ones, they don't allow you to write underneath of them. And the big desktop ones that are super big and heavy, they do allow you to write. Any other questions? I'm going to go through and talk about the different kind that I have here in the office, and just give a little bit of information about those. Any questions from you guys here in the studio?
Yeah, without that.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
The smaller ones, like you said, it has set right down on it.
Yeah.
Or they're handheld.
Mhm. Yeah, it's tricky.
It helps.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the ones we have in here in the office. And these are always here in the office and available for anybody to come in and try out if they want to and learn a little bit more about them. I should mention that we don't sell any of these here. We don't sell products in our office. But if you see any of these that you like, I can point you in the right direction of where to get them. But I usually start out small and work my way up. As I said before, we have little small 3-inch size magnifiers all the way up to 12-inch size screens. Those are the portable sizes. After above 12 inches, you get into the not so portable. But most of them the portable ones will have little stands that pop out. So you can hold it, you can have the stand closed and you can hold it in your hand and look around the room. A lot of these will do distance viewing. So someone sitting in a pew at church, they can hold it up and they can see what's written up there at the top. Or students might be able to hold this and see the board up front. Then if you want to do something at a tabletop, you can pop the little stand out and it sets it down at a nice 45-degree angle, a nice comfortable reading angle. And you can go through your mail, go through your documents, things like that. Some of them even, this particular one I have doesn't, but some will even have little recesses where you can stick like a medication bottle and it kind of puts it at the right distance to read the medication bottle. But the smaller ones are usually determined or designated by screen size. So I have a 6-inch handheld video magnifier here. I've got a 7-inch. I've got a 12-inch. And so once again, it just depends on how much screen size you want versus how much portability you need. And then you guys here in the office, I'm happy to turn any of these on here in a little bit and you can try them out. I remembered to charge them all up today. So I was a little bit responsible. The 12-inch, this one here, this is called the Explore 12, and it's from a company called Humanware. And I really like this option because this one comes with a stand, and the stand can fold down, and it's portable. All of these usually come with some type of carrying case, but the stand has a little carrying case, little shoulder strap. And then the 12-inch video magnifier has the little stand that you can pop it out. And this one will automatically turn on whenever you open the stand. So you can use it at a table, 45 degrees, and reading something, a document. You've got a really nice large screen. It is a touch screen, so you can pinch and zoom to make it bigger, but it also has the buttons. But when you want to do some other work, you can unfold the stand and set it down into the stand, and it automatically detects that you're on a stand, and then it puts it at a nice height where you can put your document under here and you can write if you want. Yeah. And it even also gets it a little bit closer to your head so you don't have to bend over as much. Yeah. And you can pinch and zoom, or the buttons too. The two outside buttons are zoom in, zoom out. The one in the middle is your colors. Yeah, this is a very popular because it gives you the portability. You do still have a nice larger screen, the 12-inch, but if you want to use this in the office, you can. If you want to go into the kitchen and read some recipes, you can easily carry it in there.
Nice.
Yeah. There's another very similar one to this called the Snow 12 that I actually like better than this one. We just don't have one in the office to show people. But it's the same price, and it has the OCR where it will take a picture and read it out loud to you if you wanted it to. So I always recommend that if you like this style.
Just let me try something else while you're.
Yeah, go right ahead.
I can't sometimes see.
So something else I wanted to mention is, magnifiers tend to be.
Does not give a real, none of them ever give the picture on my phone.
Well, here, we'll
Yeah.
them later.
Yeah, we might need to adjust the settings a little bit.
Okay. I was just checking.
Yeah.
I don't need to get ahead.
No, you're fine. So one thing I do want to point out is a lot of people just use their phones for video magnifying. There's tons of apps that you can put on your phone, free apps that will act as magnifiers. You can even use if you've got like a large iPad or large Android tablet. I mean, this iPad is the same size as this guy here, and you could even get a super inexpensive tabletop iPad stand that will put it in the exact same position. And all you do is you turn the camera on and you've got essentially the same thing with something you already own. So that's another option that a lot of people prefer because, instead of spending $1,200 to $1,500 for this, you spend $20 on a stand and you already have an iPad. So something to think about. Once again, that's stuff that we try to work through and figure out with people. Moving on up though, when you get into some of the larger video magnifiers, I've got some in here in the office behind me. You get a feature called an XY table. And it's a moving table where the document sits on top of, or the book sits on top of, and the table can lock or it can unlock and move in any direction. That's why it's called an XY table. And the benefit of that is that you don't have to move the book back and forth. You can move the table back and forth and it slides. And it's really helpful if, some people have these giant, like, Latin Bibles that are huge, super huge and weigh a ton. And it might be hard to push that thing back and forth to read, but the table will just glide back and forth. But if you don't need the table, you can lock it in place and it becomes rigid. So you have, an extra feature that way. Other than that, the big guys are exactly the same as the little ones. They're just a larger screen. Let's see. I do want to talk about the wearable video magnifier. So this particular one, once again, just like the others, put this down here so you guys can see. It's okay. Let me slide this. I'll slide it out of the way here. There you go. So there's lots of different options out there for a wearable video magnifier. The one that we have here in the office is called the Iris Vision. And the way it works is, way they all work essentially, is they use a Samsung phone or some type of smartphone in a wearable VR headset. And so the phone is running a special app or special software that turns the phone into a video magnifier, and you wear the goggles on your face. There's a control panel on the side with buttons, and you can swipe to zoom in, you can swipe to zoom out, you can push the button to change the different colors, all the same stuff that the handheld magnifiers do. It's just on a device that you wear on your face. I don't have it turned on, but I can turn it on if you guys want to try it out. And the benefit, you look a little silly. But the benefit is I can zoom in and I could zoom in enough to where sitting here, I could comfortably see the color of your eyes. Or I could read a document. I could sit back in my easy chair and watch television. So this provides both near view and distance viewing, near viewing and distance viewing. I own two different types of these myself personally, and I've taken them to UK football games and watched the games with them. I've taken them to concerts. I took it to my daughter's graduation. I took it to many of her plays and when she was in high school. So it's fantastic for that kind of thing, in my opinion. Seeing things at a distance, seeing people's faces, watching your dumb dog roll around on the floor and play. These are the things that we miss on a daily basis. But we can do that with something like this, and it works really, really well. So that is, and just to wrap it all up, I talked about there are some devices that they are just cameras. They don't come with their own screen. It's just a camera, and it's designed to be connected to an already existing television or computer monitor. And using one of those, really the sky's the limit on how big of a screen you can get. As I said, I have a screen in here that's about 60 inches, and I can plug one of these cameras up to that, and I can get a really big video magnifier. Now, the problem with that is it's not portable, and maybe your house is not set up to do video magnification on your television or something like that. But that's another option, and it tends to be a cheaper, more affordable option. So that is essentially our deep dive into video magnification. Does you guys have any questions?
Just sort of like to look at these.
Yeah,
A couple of these here.
Yeah, I'll be happy to do that. You guys on Zoom, any questions about anything?
I do.
Okay, go, Kimberly.
As you know, I had surgery in July.
Yeah.
I had a cornea transplant, and they said it could take about 6 months to a year for my vision to clear up. My vision is kind of blurred right now,
Okay.
and my glasses prescription is messed up. Because they put a lens back in my eye. I didn't have a lens.
Oh, yeah, I
Um,
understand.
I go back to the doctor January 26th, and I'm hoping I can find out that I can get glasses. We'll see.
Okay.
I think it would make a big difference. But for now, when I go to read a book, I'm having trouble reading a book, especially if it's not large print. I do have Kindle, so first of all, if I get a book, I will take it and look it up on Kindle and see if it's on there. If it's not, then I have to read it, out of the book.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for something that I could use to read right now because I have a handheld 3x magnifier, but it's little. I can't read very much at once, and I'm having trouble with it because of it being a 3x. So I'm looking for something I could use to read that's not large print.
Yeah. Well, you're going to want one of the ones that's on a stand of some sort or one of the desktop models so that you can get the book underneath there. We have some of the larger ones. If you don't need it to be portable, then we have some larger ones that are available for loan. If you wanted to come in and check those out, we could talk about that. The benefit of that
Okay.
is they have the bigger screen. So, and this brings up a great point to talk about with video magnification is generally for most people, video magnifiers are for what we call spot reading. It's to read your mail. It's to read the back of the macaroni and cheese box to see how long to cook it for. Most people don't sit down with a video magnifier for leisure reading, reading a book, just because it tends to be tedious. It can cause some eye strain and that sort of thing. Now, that's not everybody. Some people do, but that is something it tends to be the majority of people don't do that. But if that is something you're wanting to do, then I would definitely recommend one of the larger ones with the larger screen, so you'll be able to see more at one time, and even one with that XY table, so it's easier to move that book back and forth as you're reading.
That'd be fine. I could look at everything you have, even if you have, handhelds that are stronger than like a 3X.
Okay.
I'm gonna wait until I go to the doctor first and see if he says I can get glasses.
Okay.
Because if he says I can do that, I'm hoping that's going to make a big difference. If he says I can't get them right now because I gotta wait until my vision clears up more, then I'm gonna see about coming in to see you.
Okay, sure. Yeah, that's no problem. Just let us know.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining us for this AT group seminar. Once again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. bcbky.org. You can send us an email, info@bcbky.org, or give us a phone call, 859-259-1834. If you like these kind of videos, then check out our YouTube. We have all of our AT seminars as well as our peer support programs all get uploaded to YouTube. So there's lots of goodies on there for you to check out. Thank you so much.